Today, I am joined by Eduardo a leader who I have known personally and worked with for close to 10 years. He has spent over 20 years in corporate training and leadership development and is now a founder and CEO of a company called Novacent, which has revolutionized how we think and teach accountability. Part of this unique approach is mindfulness, and Eduardo has actually been teaching meditation and a happiness habits course. I know you're just as excited as I am to learn more about this new approach to accountability, which is called Transformational Accountability Framework. We will talk about its components, its impact, and its benefits. And of course, as always, if you like what you hear and see, comment or like us below. Welcome to the show, everyone. I'm Tatiana St. Germain, and on this episode of Great People Talk, I am joined by a dear friend, Eduardo Liskevich, who is now the founder and CEO and coach with Novacent. He has over 20 years of experience in corporate America and corporate training and leadership development, and is also a meditation teacher now, and has been teaching happiness habits course for the past, a year or two, right, Eduardo?
That's correct.
Eduardo, could you introduce us to Novacent and share the vision behind its creation and how your past experience contributed to creating the company?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for asking that. Novacent was born from a fundamental belief that we have that accountability, when it's properly understood and applied, it can be the most powerful driver for human potential and organizational excellence. So our philosophy was built on the idea that true accountability emerges from actually inner motivation rather than the external enforcement. So we're shifting from obligation to inspiration. And that's where individuals and organizations are empowered to connect their actions with a deeper sense, personal deeper sense of what needs to be done, with a deeper sense of the organization, fostering ownership, resilience, creativity, and learning. Our approach values the continuous learning and the courage to take action and a mindful presence at an individual level that is contributing to the greater good in a way.
And you're right when you say traditional accountability often feels punitive or compliance driven. So what are the components of that transformational accountability framework, if you could elaborate?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, like you said, it's our traditional accountability is sometimes, instead of accountability, it's a culture of blameability, right? It is a very punitive, is reactive. We're tracking metrics. We are creating a culture sometimes of fear. Actually, we're shifting blame. So, well, who was responsible for this? And the compliance at an individual level, sometimes even as a team level, is pretty minimal, right? What is it? What's my standard? What is it that I need to do? This is how much I need to do. So we took a different approach. I see a completely different. Transformational accountability is a proactive and it's empowering, and it's built on 4 pillars of commitment, clarity, courage, and calibration. Each one of those pillars need the work. The commitment is the first one, and that's an alignment with your purpose and with the values, with your own personal and with your organization. So it's great to have dreams and it's great to have goals, but unless you're committed, nothing is going to get done and you're not moving forward. Commitment is the first pillar. Clarity is our next one. It is an understanding what are all the tasks needed to accomplish that and to fulfill that commitment. To the third pillar, which is courage. I'm talking about courage to do the difficult things. Most of the tasks are not difficult, but the courage comes on having to make the phone call to say, no, I'm late. I cannot do it. No, I need to reschedule this meeting. more importantly, is the courage to look inward and to see what is it that is blocking me, myself, on my actions. What is it that is standing on my way to be able to do everything that I need to do that I clarified before in order to fulfill that commitment. The last pillar is calibration. Calibration is to really take a look at everything that we had clarified before, that to make sure that we committed to the right things for the right purpose, that I'm taking the right action and I'm going on the right path. All those pillars are really driven by the mindfulness aspect, by our mindful essentials, which is meditation and learning through impactful communication.
Accountability is one of the top topics that comes up in my executive coaching practice. And it's accountability, personal accountability, holding people accountable. And of course, none of that can be achieved without great communication. And I do talk about the listening to your inner wisdom as well
Yeah,
quite a bit. So this is where we definitely align. So
yeah.
who benefits from that framework?
The personal development is linked to a organizational team collective transformation and growth.
Mhm.
So how is it applied at an individual level? I mean, yes, you have a great team, and you can have a fantastic team, and that's where everybody moving on the same direction. Or it could be a collection of individuals that are all trying to do and doing the great work, but it's not necessarily aligned with the values of the organization. This benefit is at an individual level for providing a clarity of what they do in terms of their own personal growth and their own personal learning, their own personal path. This benefit, as I mentioned before, the personal development, we see it linked completely to a collective organizational transformation and excellence. So this benefit as an individual level in finding their path, finding their dreams and their goals, and commit to them that are aligned at the same time with the goals and the commitments of the organization. With this framework and with this, what we call the transformational accountability, some people call it mindful accountability, because personal development is linked to the collective
Mhm.
transformation of the organization and excellence. This framework benefits both at an individual level. So personally, each individual of your team will be able to grow, learn with a purpose, empower, and focus on what their life, their dream life is all about.
Good alignment. It's important for everyone to see what's their role in the organization or what's their story in the story of the company, organizational story.
Yes.
When you teach the framework, individual people benefit from it and entire teams benefit and hence the organization benefits because
Yeah.
then you could create more accountability and engagement. So does it
Yeah.
lead to things like improved productivity because there is that accountability? What are some maybe specific things if you were to
Yeah.
list a couple?
Yeah. Let me give you an example. Your boss is calling you, your manager is calling you, and they have a new, he or she has a new project. It's something that the manager was working on. They need your help. So it's calling you and it's telling you, hey, I need something. It's going to take only a couple of hours to finish. It's important for me. So if you can help me today, I'm going to send this to you. No, this accountability framework, if applied to that, see, they went through the entire process. The essence of that conversation, what it took place, the manager call, when you said, yeah, sure, I'll do it, that shows your commitment. It gave you
Mhm.
some clarification. It clarified that, yeah, it's going to take 2 hours. Let me show you what I did. So there is the clarification. But all this really happens when, if we zoom out a little bit, there is that commitment first from you, the employee, to the team. There is the commitment. It doesn't have to be in a commitment to a project that I'm going to finish.
Hmm.
In this, if apply the transformational accountability to that team and embracing as a culture change, your manager would have already the conversation saying, are we committed to contribute to the team? And clarification means that what it means is that sometimes I might have to call you and you have to drop everything and we have to do something in 2 hours. Are you committed to that? Yeah, I'm committed. Now, I don't know exactly what it means because it hasn't happened. But now I'm committed. I clarified what it means. And you gave me actually the power to put things on hold because those things were important. And now, if there is not that communication and we are not working within that frame, there might be some fear of calling and clarifying because I should have known it, I should have understood everything. But that's not really the case when we're working under the culture of a transformational accountability, where there is that relationship that you can call, clarify. You have the courage to do those things, to face what is blocking you or potentially could block you, and talk to others and talk to your manager. And so that's an example of how, at a micro level, very small tasks that translate into this entire process, the entire framework is applied, but really works when you start zooming out, and the entire culture of that team is within that framework.
What type of clients do you like to work with? Will you, in other words, where I'm going with this question is, will you take on a completely dysfunctional team or organization, or maybe it's a small business, and they say, Eduardo, help us. We can't get anything done. Is that the type of pain point, I guess, that might prompt people to look to you to implement this framework? And what are some other examples of pain points where you can really help?
Do I take a completely dysfunctional team or small business that is calling for help? Yes, yes, yes. But who's making the call, right?
Hmm.
The call comes from the CEO, from the top management. Great. Yes, we can talk. The call comes from someone that is seeing that there is a problem. Somehow they know us and they call, but there's no buy-in from leadership, from the entirely from the C level, from leadership. Yes, I will take it, but those would be the first conversations that I will have, because this culture change, the adoption of a culture of accountability, of transformational and really meaningful change in this case, starts at the top. It really does. So my conversations will start there, and we will start by clarifying really what the goals are of the organization, and then as leaders, their development, their growth, and their learning will contribute to then create that culture that will eliminate the dysfunctionality and then create something that where the organization can excel and can be competitive and they can grow. Makes sense?
Other initiatives can this transformational accountability framework contribute to? Like,
Yeah.
if there is already a talent management executive in the organization, they're running certain programs, they're working on, and I, by the way, completely agree with you that culture is driven from the top. It's leaders who drive the culture and maintain the culture and grow the culture and grow the people. So, if that talent management executive is working on other initiatives, in what way or what types of initiatives this framework can really complement?
Yeah, this can be a framework really can complement any project ongoing or any other initiative. If you talk about if we're thinking it that way, and the reason that I'm saying that is because this is not content driven. This is about commitment driven. This is about shifting from an initiative in whatever area could be, shifting from this is what we need to do, you guys need to do it, to let's make sure that we understand what is it that we're doing, why are we doing, and clarifying the goals, but then creating the commitment from each one of the members about we are behind this idea, we are behind this project, we are behind this initiative, and we are committed to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Then we can figure it out. Then let's clarify what this is all about. And then let's talk about the courage needed to accomplish, to fulfill the commitments that we establish at the very beginning. There's not one particular initiative that this framework can apply. It really can apply to everything. And that's one of the motivations for starting this organization and for having these conversations, is because accountability has always been, in my view, and as an accountability teacher, accountability has always been the last little thing that we put on the. I want to bring accountability to the very beginning of the process. And let's start with mindfulness,
Mm-hmm.
understanding what we are really feeling about it. But it's not more what we are feeling. What is it that we are really after? What is it that our inner voice is telling us that we really want? That we are in the right situation, that we want of ourselves, and we want for our team. But let's just not go at the very end when things did not work. Because even if things work, sometimes by not listening, we're not really fulfilled. We're not completely happy. We can have a better life than that. We could be really excelling and not just giving the 75%, which is great, and everybody's doing fine, but we could be 100% more, and we could be truly happy and fulfilled um, at a personal level and contributing to the organization.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's really a mindset. It's a framework, a practical framework, as well as a mindset, uh, for sure.
It's definitely changing the mindset, but feeling empowered to change that your mindset. It's feeling safe. The mindset change actually starts with the commitment. We always bring accountability, but at the end, let's
Mm-hmm.
start let's start with accountability. Let's start with a framework that allows us to begin with accountability, and you plug in anything or the changes that are needed, or the goals that you are that you have for your life, for your meetings, for your conversations, for your relationships, or for your team or organization.
Leaders, usually executive leaders, small business owners, um, division leaders, and HR executives are our typical audience. And so it sounds like they would be the right type of person who would reach out to you to learn more about the program. How can they learn more about the framework and about how this can be implemented and more about you?
Yeah, they can obviously visit our website. It's novacent.co, and contact me directly if it's my email, or you can contact me on LinkedIn and send direct email. And you can mention that you heard this podcast, and even if you don't, I'll be more than glad to have a conversation, to talk about, to see how we can help, and understand more the challenges that they're facing, and again, facing as an individual, um, as a team, as a small business, or as an organization, as a large organization.
Yeah, sounds great. Well, I really, really appreciate your time and coming on the show and sharing this unique transformational accountability framework with our audience. Thank you so much, Eduardo.
Thank you, Tatiana.